And then I just brought it back with me.
Yeah.
And I said, that's the perfect place to do it.
Yeah.
I was amazed that, I mean, they never met him,
Right.
but they picked up, you know, I sent, you know, like you have the roll-up thing at the Celebration of Life with all the pictures. I sent them that, and I sent them one of the CDs that he had made. And they came up with that.
Oh, they did a good job.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And
Yeah,
so
when he was
powerful, so moving.
like 16, 17, he was a counselor at Camp Johnson.
Oh, okay.
And he taught all the nature stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I always thought he would be a forest ranger. I don't know why, but it just seemed like that.
Yeah.
But he went into the specialty concrete, the ones that make pavers that, you know, looks like
Right.
pavers.
Right.
But he wanted to be a musician. He could pick up, the only thing he couldn't play was the trumpet.
Really?
Okay.
Other than that,
Right.
he played with the band for a while. The woman came over to me and she said, "We are so lucky to have Bill. He's such a talented keyboardist." He said, "He's been playing for a month."
Really?
Yeah, he just, that was him.
Yeah. Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, he was only 37.
37, wow. That's so young.
Yeah, this year, on his birthday, he would have been 40. That was tough. But, tomorrow's the day he died. So, got back and started.
Jeez.
Well, it's time, I'm so glad we could be here with you this week, and it's good. What was his name?
Bill.
Bill.
Well, I still called him Billy. He
Bill.
said, "It's okay, Mom. I said, "You will always be Billy."
Bill, yes,
Yeah,
Bill.
and he used to be little Bill until he grew up, and my husband's 5'3", and he was up 6 feet. Took after my father's in so many ways.
Right.
So now they're both on my mantle. One end is my son, and the other end is my father. And my daughters will hate me when I die because they're gonna have to do something with them. So they're staying there till I'm gone.
Oh, yeah.
Think with it what you want, but.
Yes, that's it.
But
Thank you
it's so
for
good to
sharing.
see you again.
Same here.
I was standing up there while we were playing, and I loved the way it feels like it's in the air. It's just like, oh. Yeah, we gotta get you back here more often.
Oh, I missed everybody terribly.
Amen. We gotta get you, yes.
My
Did you-
anniversary is the 12th. I think I'm going to try to talk Patty into, we did it early this year. So I think I'm going to try to talk her into doing that every year. I'll go home and work on it.
Work your magic.
Working magic, yes.
Are we stopping
So-
outside today?
We are, I guess, it's a good question.
Good morning. Oh, thank you. My friend made a bunch of them for me and my friends.
We get a new grade slip on your foot.
Yeah, she did.
True story. I couldn't
Thank you, Barry, for blessing us with your music and your presence here this week. Good morning, my dear friends. On this, our Friday, where's Sarah? She isn't here. Good. Okay. So I'm going to try to go and get a card for her that we can have to sign, and also Mary Lou Merling, if you know her, and Candy. So there'll be some cards on the table in the lobby if you want to sign those, and just thank Sarah for her work in coordinating. Yes, and Pat, exactly. I'll see if she's on our, yes, absolutely, yep. So just, you have until 11 to put your suitcases where you found them, and to move out of your rooms. And you can bring things to the lobby, and we will be having lunch. And then I think we need to be on our boat at 2:30. So we have some time, so. Okay, good. I created a chalice lighting from Mike Johnson, a minister from Portland, and I wove it together from her Finding Our Way Home book this morning. So. With the kindling of our flame, I remember whenever I take even one small step toward attuning myself with the larger earth, I feel blessed by it. I feel more beauty and joy. And yet, for each small step, I feel challenged, aware of how broken off I am, aware of how broken off we are as a people from this earth that is our whole life. If we open our eyes, we see the brokenness and possibility for life and joy, connection with our earth. This has been a week of blessings, unexpected, some anticipated. So I thought with this our time of contemplation and sharing, we can imagine, close your eyes if you'd like, and just think of a gift that you have received, however small or brief or grand and expansive, and or perhaps a gift you feel you have offered. It could be a word, a sentence, a sharing.
So good to be back to midweek too.
Colors, deep, dark pink of sky, and browns and greens of people's eyes, and blue.
In the company of friends.
Ringing bells.
Rhythmic surf. Serendipity in discovery. Swimming. Kayaking. Geology tour.
Pale blue sky.
Butterflies.
Chat.
Being reminded to have fun.
Yes.
Scarlet Pimpernel. New social roots during transition.
That unreal turquoise color of the ocean that we thought only existed in the Caribbean. End of summer on an island. Time to feel my pain and let it go.
Puzzles. Moonlit ocean. Wonderfully adapted and oriented new members of our group. Couldn't think of fewer words. Winds of the spirit and lightning and ground. Memories of dance. Interpersonal protective measures.
So many gifts. There was a grand poem there, Stephen, if you had scribbled down every single gift that traveled, that took us far and brought us back. So, blessings. Stephen has a poem to share. And I want to honor him for all his coordination and work, weaving together the evening's services and just his presence. And thank you, Stephen.
On Monday, when we called names of people who were absent, I said the name Lenny, who was my cousin, the closest thing that I ever had to a brother, and he passed away unexpectedly just before I came here. And having said his name in the chapel, then the poem just began. It's actually a poem not just for Lenny, but for us. For welcome. In chapel, just when your name was pronounced in remembrance, outside, beyond the pulpit, a dickcissel flitting between the branches of the juniper, sparrow brown, but with the sun on his breast, blown off course perhaps, a vagrant on this island, like the rest of us. You are not that bird. That never crossed my mind, not for an instant. Not that tree. Not the gull call far off. Not the clang of the bell buoy, and there again, the clang. You were not the flourish of waves that never seem to leave us. And neither am I. Of that I'm sure. But I can take it all in. Welcomed, welcoming. For you, for me, for love's sake, for a few minutes more.
Isn't it magical how things come together? We hear each other's, we see and hear each other from the words and faces that we see here. Reverend Mike says, I have to believe awakening to this brokenness and this beauty is essential to the spiritual journey. I have to believe awakening to this brokenness and this beauty is essential to the spiritual journey. We cannot have one without the other. My greatest hopes trigger my greatest fears. My greatest fears call forth my greatest hopes. I believe when we enter that place between our greatest fears and our greatest hopes, when we encounter our own vulnerability and call out for help, something can rise in us like the dawn, and this is the place where God lives. This is the place at the heart of Star. This dear spirit home that we have had the honor of resting upon these 4 endlessly long and lightningly short days and nights. I have so much to share with you, dear ones, I have no words. Waves of gratitude wash over me. And I feel the beauty Mike spoke of, especially at dawn here. How many of you wake up at dawn at home? I don't. Very rarely. Maybe in some Sunday mornings. But do people wake up at dawn at home? So, okay. Well, I do here. And see that incredible light just whispering over, getting grander and larger, lighting up the whole sky, and I feel that beauty deeply. It is so present. But I also feel that deep vulnerability and longing. It begins to tug after me just after the settling, when I stop sending my spirit back across the water to work and projects undone and unfinished. When I can turn and attune my attention here, then we feel the beauty. Yes. We really feel the details. The particular elements of star begin to become clearer and clearer. Feeling more deeply, breathing more deeply, tasting more deeply. Oh, this sausage was so good. Isn't this good at home? It can't be. Hearing on a deeper level. Attuning ourselves to the rhythms of this place. And I do feel a sense of grounding when I do finally let myself arrive. And by arrive, I mean I let myself come home to myself. I gather the pieces, fragmented pieces of all that is undone, unknown, unfinished, frustrating, fearful. I gather it all, I try to gather it all up and bring it here and let myself come home. And then a place in me, a feeling, grows and grows. And I think to myself, can't I just stay on star forever? Is that possible? Do people do that? Do I have to leave? I don't want to. Maybe I could, fall and then I would have to stay and heal. And can't we stay here forever? What would it be like to be the lone caretaker through the winter months, the wind and the snow? I've allowed this beauty and struggle to enter me and this longing, and I don't want the feeling of union, of connection, of relationship with land and stone and sea to end. And that's a choice. It's a choice for us to keep that feeling and that sensation alive. This is a little book, a full and grand book, but a small book called Our Land, Ourselves. Readings on people and place. This is Scott Russell Sanders saying, staying put. The longing to become an inhabitant rather than a drifter sets me against the current of my culture, which nudges everyone into motion. Newton taught us that a body at rest tends to stay at rest unless it is acted on by an outside force. We are acted on ceaselessly by outside forces. Advertising, movies, magazines, speeches, and also by the inner force of biology. I am not immune to their pressure, he writes. Before settling in my present home, I lived in 7 states, 2 countries, tugged from place to place in childhood by my father's work, in early adulthood by my own. This itinerant life is so common among the people. I know that I have been slow to conceive of an alternative. But I am encouraged by the words of a Crow elder, quoted by Gary Snyder in The Practice of the Wild. I think if people stay somewhere long enough, even white people, the spirits will begin to speak to them. It's the power of the spirits coming from the land. The spirits and the old powers aren't lost. They just need people to be around long enough, and the spirits will begin to influence them. If people stay somewhere long enough, the spirits will begin to speak to them. I don't know about you, but the spirits of Star began to speak to me very soon after I arrived. The wind, the rustling of muskrats, so big, so present, so sure that this is their island. We just happened to be along and they let us pass. The monarchs, the dear, hard-working pelican folks that stand quietly and hold the space while we receive our food, take our bites, lay our dishes back, and walk quietly away. The stones, the land, the trees, and then the buildings placed upon those stones and land is in an intimate relationship with itself and each other. And then we have the opportunity, the honor, the blessing to tread lightly and carefully upon this place for a brief time. And then we have the opportunity to decide what gifts and learning we take home with us. Is it possible to live as if we were on Star next week, next month? If we aren't able to return again next year, can we keep that star flame alive? Can we? Is it possible? One might say that if we can collectively honor this place, that honoring, that energy, that power will help to heal other places in the earth, and of course ourselves. Great healings happen here. I don't always recognize it till I'm halfway through the next year. And I think, oh, I woke up to that part of myself. When did that happen? Oh, it happened on Star. Someone reminded me to slow down, to listen, to truly hear them, to see their beauty and their suffering. And the spirits begin to influence us again and again. I can feel the energy of this circle, this community inside me. And I don't always let that happen. And I think part of it is that we don't live here all year round, right? We don't live together all year round. We have this briefest of opportunities, and we're careful with each other. We're careful, we're gentle, because in a way, we know we'll be saying farewell. And if we hear another suffering here, we take it in. But there's a separation that begins to happen this morning, then as we walk to the docks, then as we get on the ferry, and we pull back. What's to say we have to do that, pulling back into ourselves, into that other life, away from that intimacy, away from that suffering? we can collectively carry and send our healing to Mary Lou as we heard of the loss of her son. To others of you in transition, in search of home, in search of a place to lay your head. So many of you are moving and changing your home, your place, that balance of home. And where is home? And how far away I am from that place, that home. Where is home? Here. How far do I go away from it? Sometimes in my other life, really. So this place says, T, come home to yourself. Come on, get with it, listen, stop. Don't try to be or do or say something else or be someone else. Because in the end, it's not possible. We can't. Our blessing for this morning from John O'Donohue to bless the space between us is called For Equilibrium. Like the joy of the sea coming home to shore, may the relief of laughter rinse through your soul. As the wind loves to call things to dance, may your gravity be lightened by grace. Like the dignity of moonlight restoring the earth, may your thoughts incline with reverence and respect. As water takes whatever shape it is in, so free may you be about who you become. As silence smiles on the other side of what's said, may your sense of irony bring perspective. As time remains free of all that it frames, may your mind stay clear of all it names. May your prayer of listening deepen enough to hear in the depths the laughter of God. I don't know if you remember that I read that at the beginning of the week. And I felt that at that point, it was like reading it for just offering a little taste of what could happen here. And now we come to our end, our time, our closing, our practice. Our practice here is to be as ever gentle with each other as we can. Our practice on Star is to allow that beauty and that suffering to be a present. Our practice here is to have as much fun as we can, as much lightness together, because the burdens of the world can be so heavy. Our life here is to share those burdens, is to try and lessen that weight. The care I have seen you give each other and me is beautiful. You felt it. And I commit to you that when I'm back in that other place, that other home, and someone reaches out and offers to help me, I will remember. How many people does it take? How many offerings before you say, oh, the spirit of the land and the people are offering you some help? You don't have to carry all of that yourself. I don't know about you, but Midweek 2 retreat may be uniquely made up of people who often feel like they're able to carry a lot themselves. I don't know, I'm not positive, but I have a sense that many of us are fiercely independent. and feel that we should be able to manage our own life, our own states of being ourselves. And I feel like Star is that reminder that no, the only way we'll truly be able to come home is to realize it's not only about our independence, our separateness, our individual self. This time now especially, the care that's needed to lessen the crisis of Earth is a collective understanding, a collective spirituality, a collective responsibility, a collective joy. Gratitude to all of you, to each of you. And joy, which I brought in a little bit, but Jennifer has a poem, and then Barry has a song to bring that joy in again and again.
Before I read this poem, I just want to say I went to the yoga conference service last night, and their theme this week is, there is no wrong way home. So this poem is called Color Chords. I wrote it yesterday. It's autobiographical. It has length, so you can settle in. It has a few visual aids with thanks and apologies to Barry. It's called Color Chords. Barry is teaching me color chords. We first paint with water, saturating the top of the paper. The wetness lessened toward the middle, the bottom scarcely wet. Then, one by one, we add 3 colors. Watch how these colors flow together, meandering where brush meets paper. Whenever they start to resemble a form, whenever they hint at a legible scene, Barry blurs them tenderly. Our goal here is only to understand color, to learn how the hues relate to each other. Loose arpeggios siphoned right out of the sky, composite stone, sea, the trees. I try hard to follow Barry's directions. After cancer, friends' illnesses, cruel diagnoses, formlessness appeals to me. For months, I have felt a suspicion of bodies, of softness and cells where dis-ease can breed. I would rather be air or moving water, mutable, powerful, unhampered by need. I paint olive green, violet, ultramarine. Barry says, that reminds me a little of trees. But no, I say, look, it's 2 creatures reaching toward one another longingly. I know what I'm supposed to be learning, but I can't bear to blur them away. I'm in love with their separation, their yearning. I try again to make color, just color, wild, gentle, singular, blended, dusky and shining and in between, the skin and the heart of my deepest seeing with no form, no form, no form. But here on the page, more reaching, more yearning. Barry tells me whatever I render looks like people reaching toward each other. Not people, creatures. A cerulean alien, a standing dolphin, eyes meeting across the white space. 2 blended beings running together, wild heron, wild chicken, she and she, sprinting together from someone, towards something, tenacious spirits upholding each other. Yesterday morning, I saw a muskrat, injured and shivering, the fur on her rump slicked with something, blood, limping across the gravel path. I wanted to cradle her, stroke her pained limbs, conjure a dropper of magic elixir, wanted her not to die, wanted all to be well. But she might have been rabid, or I might have frightened her. All I could do was pray. I used to shy away from muskrats, resent their dung on the path, believe them ungainly, fear they might enter my cabin. But at night when I saw a larger muskrat, sleek and prowling, I loved him deeply. He could have been my injured friend. Tender is a word that goes with everything, like Payne's gray, a color that blooms by itself on the wet page and complements all other shades. Tender is another word for prey. I watched the muskrat standing near a doorway, its sharp teeth colored like the moonlight, its shadow full of sepia, ochre, even a hint of olive green. I watched my life as it turned with yearning over and over toward what was missing or what was sorrowing, and loved ones who glimmered faintly from a faraway place I can't often reach, and the colors of pain that are yet to come from living here inside this body, the hues of joy, the hues of stumbling. I held my life like a creature, and I was not afraid.
think we can have midweek 2 without you, Barry, ever again. So just keep that in mind. I want to end with this piece that I didn't have out, so bear with me. And I'm so proud of us for this, for the care that we've taken with each other, being out here. I know that there were moments of fear and struggle around this COVID safety and distancing. So hard. And we didn't always abide by the rules in terms of not hugging or whatever. So I know that I'm grateful that you took care of each other, of the wise elders among us, the more vulnerable ones. And we truly are in this together. And I pray, I hope that we will come back together. Sarah Morse Campbell offers, we receive fragments of holiness, glimpses of eternity, brief moments of insight. Let us gather them up for the precious gifts that they are, and renewed by their grace, move boldly into the unknown. Sarah and Jennifer came.
Maria.
I'm sorry. Sarah, of course, Campbell was here with us too, offering glimpses of holiness. Maria, you know, the other Sarah. Maria, and where she is. Maria and Jennifer came to me, I think the first night or the second morning, and says, I have a song to end with. I have a departure song. Maria came first, and then Jennifer said, I have a departure song. I thought, okay, well, we'll do one Thursday morning, we'll do one Friday morning. Then they got together and they realized it was the same song. So they're going to offer us a teaching of that song. They'll sing to us at the doorway, and then we'll go out together and sing together.
Is there anyone who doesn't have the lyric sheet? We have more lyric sheets. Do you have one? The word sheet. It says we will land on the shore. So we probably don't have one there.
Are we gonna sing Starlandia?
I think that was
Next year.
the last year and next year. Anyone else do that? So, this is a song that we both have sung with other communities, and we had slightly different words and slightly different tunes, so we have been working on melding together, and I guess we really need to be in the doorway, which was what
It's enjoyable.
so we will, just give you advice of the words. As you see, the first verse, the last couple lines of the chorus are the same in the other verses, but to save paper, we just
They usually don't start off so slow, but seems to be here.
Well, the thing is, they don't know the intro, so they don't know where you're going with it. That's why it's just sort of floating a little bit, and then also, oh, I know that. I forget what they call it. Oh, to Joel, right?
Yep, into Joe. The Patty usually plays with me, so I hear her. Seems a little incomplete, but she chimes in and then, oh.
Well, remember, there's always three voices, so now you do bass, you do the third voice.
Yeah. And I hate to admit it, when we do craft shows, whenever we play that piece, people come over and stop by the CDs.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's fine.
Yeah. So we try not to get too commercial.
Remember, it's a gift. They don't trade for $10 or $20, whatever it is, and trade it for having X number of dollars. Listen to it. It's fine. It's a gift. I have to go pack. You
Okay.
pack already or not?
I'm mostly packed, I'm gonna go move my stuff down.
I gotta do it. Get out of the room. Maybe an hour, or maybe an hour.
John,
after lunch.
you go out with Mom, I'm just gonna grab my stuff, and then we'll go down and start packing. Okay? Did you get everything? Yeah, start walking. I'll be there in a minute, a second.
We invited on all the huts. Wonderful. It was a great, over the beautiful too.
Yes, it will.
Over the perfect.
Yes.
And yin yang, because I said, well, we're not that. She said, well, maybe we're that.
Right.
I told you not that as a tree. She said, well, maybe I'm not sure.
I know, that's it.
Yeah.
I come back and I want everything to be the same, I want two of us to be in the culture.
I recorded it, but I don't know artistically how to make it connected to you guys. So if someone is geeky, you're welcome to have access to my images, but I don't post them on social media. because-
I'll see you later.
Right,
Okay, good. Yes, thank you, Stephen. I was,
Yes, Tila, I wanted to show your parents. Can we just like record them? They're like a good fortune cookie every morning. They'll say
Yeah, there you
nice
go.
to you. They'll say, I like what you're wearing.
I know,
Like the
right,
Elmo.
you look beautiful. Right,
The Elmo,
right. Very.
yeah.
It was perfect. Worked out beautifully. Yeah.
You both hit it out of the park.
Yes, I
I've
know.
never been to.
I
I think COVID is partly responsible for that.
I do too. I do too. Well, I think that our lives have been at risk,
Right.
and so the gratitude to feel like we were able to be here together. Most of us are, it just felt very palpable, real,
Yep.
really real.
Yep.
I think, I'm always happy to see you in here. This year felt particularly like, oh, God,
We didn't take it for granted. It was existential.
right, yeah.
By the way, the two of you can appreciate this. You won against the Pels. You hit it out of the park. You did it both. I recorded. You both did a gorgeous job speaking, and that thing you played was just you Elton John'd it. It just was like, it was amazing. You're playing like such simple things in contrast, and then this like huge thing came out that was very complex, and you pulled it off. So it was really.
Well, I never played it that way before.
It really flowed. It's like the
Tapping
divine.
into the mood of the.
The divine flowed through you because that
Yes.
was magnificent. I don't think you were there for it though, so I recorded it for you.
Yeah. Well, and it goes from the simple and gets more and more complex. You have it on your CD,
I do.
and it's just it's just filled, and I love it so happy you're able to
That's
play.
great.
Did you play something coming in?
Yeah.
Yes. Darn.
What did you play?
I just played, it's funny, it was a piece that I played for myself during COVID. And it was a piece called Dawn. It was actually at the beginning of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, the movie. It's an incredible piano piece. To me, it's like a modern classic. It's something right up there with Bach and Pascal. It's called Dawn. If you get a chance, look up the beginning of Pride and Prejudice. And
minor chords or there's some unexpected notes.
I want to be sharing an appreciation with you in front of them. We witnessed you and I witnessed you balancing being a mom, being a caregiver, and being a minister. And that is, in public, very hard to balance both, and you shared some of your heart tenderness that life is short. And so I really want to recognize how hard it is to pull that off on stage. And also that I saw the really deep patience you have and love with your parents that is just a gift to all of us to connect with the generations, and they make me feel part of the family I never had. I'm so glad I got to meet them. And see the three of you in your dance together. So I have Steph with Venus and I have family at least.
All right, all right. Oh, thank you.
Little things tickle me.
Thank you. I'll see you down at the,
Yeah,
down in the lobby. Yes. Are you staying, Phyllis?
no,
Okay, you're coming.
no, I wanted to,
No, I mean, are you staying on the island?
no,
You're coming, okay.
I'm coming.
'Cause
No, I was
sometimes we-
looking at the origami.